is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Listen to other great tech podcasts at www.techpodcasts.com.
Yo, you are in the right place at the right time, listening to the right thing. Tech Webcast. Congratulations on choosing such an awesome thing to listen to. You are clearly very smart. You're into tech stuff. You love hearing Brad and Jason and their guests chat, and you're probably really good looking too. Well done. So let's get into it. The weekly tech extravaganza that is Tech Webcast. In 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Welcome to episode 185 of the Tech Webcast podcast, recorded on Saturday the 21st of April 2012. Tech Webcast is recorded every Saturday and rebroadcast on Aussie Tech Heads on Thursday nights at 7. Today's hosts, Brad, Steve, Jason and Jody. And our guest is Jonathan Barouch from Roamz.com, social goggles for the real world. How you doing, Brad?
Hey, Jason, how are you, mate?
Not too bad, not too bad. How's yourself?
Good, mate. We've been having some issues the past few minutes with Skype and stuff, and that's all.
Yeah, I've got somebody trying to ring into me while I were talking as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Brian.
Yes, Brian, don't call, mate. We're trying to do the podcast. Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. Yourself? What have you been up to, mate?
I joined the gym, going to get fit.
Good on you.
Yeah, been going a few days during the week, and
Cool.
Tuesday morning I woke up at 3 o'clock with a massive leg cramp, so
Wow.
getting into the vitamin D and iodine and magnesium now.
Nice.
Counteract that, but yeah, going at least 3 days a week just to start off with, early in the morning. Thursday I went at 5:30 a.m. I woke up, and today I went about 7:30.
Cool. Now, people want to know about Android on the Tech Webcast app for Android. When's that going to happen? Jason?
Well, until Anscombe managed to make the Android platform work better with web views, not going to happen. You just have to wait till then, and there's no known time when that's going to happen.
All right.
And the CEO has just left.
Oh, really?
Carlos Icazar, that we did that interview with a while ago, has had some personal things happen, so he's left the company and moved on. So big news there.
Yeah, great. Yeah, big news. All right. Okay, we've got Steve. Hey, Steve, welcome back, mate.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? You've had some bad storms over your way the past couple of days. What's been happening with it?
So it actually started Sunday. We had a lot of rain, I think up to 13 inches, some flooding, and a tornado touched down there for a while. Luckily, it wasn't my backyard or anything. And then just today, we had some rain, too.
Crazy. Okay. Also got Jody. Hey, Jody.
Hey, Brad. How are you?
Good. And you?
Doing great.
Cool.
You want to know what's been going on?
Yeah, okay. What have you been doing?
I've been a bad girl. The weather's been absolutely glorious here in scenic New Jersey, USA, and I was out riding my motorcycle last week, or this past week as well. So a lot of fun.
Cool.
Enjoying the back roads.
Good stuff. Do we have any news stories today, Jason? Or
Yes.
all right, let's jump into them, and then we'll speak to Roamz.
All right, an Aussie startup launched recently as an online errands and chores marketplace has been granted $1.5 million in funding. The website Airtasker was launched in February and allows users to outsource everyday tasks to other members, dubbed runners, for cash. The tasks run from the mundane, such as data entry and cleaning, to the outrageous, such as pretending to be someone's girlfriend. The Airtasker team have even commissioned their own task, cashing in on Apple's publicity by paying a man $950 to camp out and buy the first new iPad. They also hired a team of artists via their website to decorate their new offices. We want to make our business model a win-win for everyone in the community, says founder and CEO Tim Fong of Sydney. He came up with the idea last year while trying and failing to assemble IKEA furniture. I can understand that. He took the idea to investors with co-founder Jonathan Barouch and was able to raise enough money to build the website and get the marketplace up and running. The pair previously worked together at mobile startup Amasim, where Fong helped raise over $30 million to get the organisation off the ground. The boost in funding comes as a result of relationships the pair forged with investors at Amasim, such as Bridge Lane Capital, says Fong. A damaging blow has been dealt to the giants of the film industry in the High Court today after it decided to dismiss their copyright infringement appeal against ISP iNet in a landmark ruling. The High Court's 5 judges unanimously dismissed the appeal. In a summary, the court observed that iNet had no direct technical power to prevent its customers from illegally downloading pirated content using BitTorrent, a popular protocol used to share files online. But copyright law experts say the case is not the end of the story, as more ISPs could be targeted in the future, and pressure will remain on internet providers to do something about piracy on their networks. The Australian Federation Against Copyright Theft, AFACT, which has been presenting the studios in media commentary and in court, is already pressuring the government to change copyright laws to crack down on piracy. Today, the court said iNet's power to prevent customers from pirating movies and TV shows was limited to an indirect power to terminate its contractual relationship with its customers. Further, the High Court said that the infringement notices sent by the film industry to iNet did not provide the ISP with a reasonable basis for sending warning notices to individual customers containing threats to suspend or terminate those customers. If the film industry had won, the decision had the potential to impact internet users and the internet industry profoundly, as it sets a legal precedent surrounding how much ISPs are required to do to prevent customers from downloading movies and other content illegally. iNet CEO Michael Malone welcomed the ruling and said Hollywood should now focus on increasing the availability of lawful content in a timely and affordable manner. We have consistently said we are eager to work with the studios to make their very desirable material legitimately available to a waiting customer base, and that offer remains the same today, he said. iNet was picked on by studios, he said, because it was one of the first internet providers to offer fast and high volume packages, and cables from the US Embassy in Canberra leaked through WikiLeaks indicate the studios did not want to take Telstra to court because they had commercial relationships with the telco giant. And Facebook and Google want to link online and offline personas, while 4chan and other social sites prefer people to play with the freedom of pseudonyms. Before Facebook and Google became the megaliths of the web, the most famous online adage was, on the internet no one knows you're a dog. And it seems the days when people were allowed to be dogs is coming to a close. The old web, a place where identity could remain separate from real life, is rapidly disappearing. According to Sheryl Sandberg, Facebook's chief operating officer, and Richard Allen, its director of policy in Europe, a critical mass of people only want online interaction supported by authentic identity. And this, say critics, will have irrevocable effects on the web. Facebook profiles and Google IDs are tied to a person's real name and real connections, and increasingly to their activities across cyberspace. Facebook also believes authenticity is linked to a person's photo stream, which is why it has just paid $1 billion for photo sharing service Instagram. Pictures speak 1,000 words, says Allen. Immigration officials will ask to see a photo album to see if a relationship is genuine. It's a very powerful way to confirm authentic identity. Not everyone agrees. I would not call what you have on Facebook authentic identity, says Christopher Poole, the 24-year-old creator of 4chan, an online community founded in 2004. 4chan boasts 2 features antithetical to Facebook. First is 20 million users don't register and are anonymous. Second, there's no archive. Poole, voted Time's most influential person of 2008, 2 years before Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg was declared the magazine's Man of the Year, believes Facebook commercial motivation shut down the online experience. Mark and Sheryl have gone out and said that the identity is authenticity, that you are online when you are offline and have to multiple identities is lacking integrity. I think that's nuts. And that's the news for today.
Great news, Jason. Joe, let's get your thoughts on them news stories before we get into Steve.
First of all, I love the idea of the AirTasker. I think that's really neat, and I'm jealous because it appears that it's only available for you guys over in Australia. So
yeah, I'd say they would expand it in the future, right?
Yeah, right? I mean, I can think of a lot of things I would be happy to pay somebody to do.
Yeah.
But, I think that's a neat idea. And I also agree with the last story that had to do with identity, and it seems that more and more, there's a total lack of privacy. There's not an ability anymore to be able to monitor and perhaps block certain people from having access to information. And I think that the younger generation is growing up with this and they accept it, but people that are of a certain age are not quite as comfortable with it. So, but then again, the young people are the ones who are influencing the future. So
and
it's probably going to continue.
big news story about IINet winning against Hollywood. That was fantastic for Australia.
That's great. See, what are your thoughts on them news stories?
Unfortunately, my stepdaughter came in the room, and I was kind of, conveying some messages.
Okay.
Did you hear the one about IINet in Australia beating the high courts for BitTorrent?
No, we didn't hear about that. I think Steve might have missed that one. We got Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, how are you?
How are you, mate? Roamz.
Welcome to the show.
Very welcome to Tech Webcast again.
Thanks for having me.
What's been happening with Roamz?
Oh, what hasn't been happening? We've been busy. So we launched the next version of sort of our application out at South by Southwest in Austin last month. So sort of just taking on board some of the feedback that we're getting and trying to get our algorithm smarter and smarter so that we sort of get fresher and fresher local content so that people kind of discover what's happening near them. So
cool.
Getting further along the journey, but still got kind of a long way to go to make it to get it sort of to where it is in our head.
Good stuff. And so what's coming up with the next updates, you reckon? Can you give us any sort of hints? Or?
Yeah, look, so I suppose there's two things, one on the interface side and one on the server side. So sort of on our server side, on the intelligence, we're sort of working on the algorithms and trying to get to the really interesting data. So that, you're walking down the street and, you find out about the fair going on in the park or something that someone just posted at the restaurant. And we're processing so much data, it's pretty tricky to get to the really fresh stuff. So we've worked out a few new techniques that we're coming out with shortly so that you'll see the quality of the content get better and better.
Yeah, we always start the interviews backwards. For the people who have no idea, what is Roamz and what do you do with it?
I should have started with that. That's my bad.
Whoops.
So look, Roamz is an app for iPhone or iPod Touch. And basically what it does is it aggregates content from social media. So we're pulling content from Facebook and Foursquare and Twitter and Instagram. And our aim is to sort of show people what's going on near them, whether or not you know the person. So that you can take the scenario that you're in a new suburb or even in your own neighborhood. Like, unless you're following everyone in that neighborhood, you can't possibly, hear all the voices and find out what's going on. So we kind of look across all of the public content. We work out and we clean the data and we work out, that this photo was taken at this park. And then we try and get it out to the handset really, really quickly. So you're using the Roamz app and basically you're using it to see what's happening around you nearby. And it's something you can't really do with Twitter or Instagram or Facebook on its own, because those are all about discovering through your friends, whereas Roamz is sort of discovering what's happening around you.
Yep.
So that kind of circumvents that concern about privacy then, right?
Well, it does, because we're only looking at public content. So the content that we've got access to is public. And if you choose to post on our platform, it's also public. So, we're not a platform that wants private data. We don't want photos of your kids. We don't want photos of, private moments. But, if you find a great fair or a festival or a music event or you're having a great meal, much like you put something onto Yelp or TripAdvisor and not worry that it's public content, we want you to put that on Roamz as well.
Cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
I've seen, having a look in Roamz, I've just downloaded it today, and they've got a list of generic interests. Is there going to be an option in the future to be able to more narrow down the specifics of the interests? Say, I see it's got restaurants and food. Is it going to be possible for people to search for, say, vegetarian food or restaurants that specialise in Atkins diet type things and that sort of thing?
You're ruining the impact of our launch, because that's one of the things that we're going to do. So you're jumping the gun. I suppose what we don't want to be is we don't want to be another Yelp or another Yellow Pages. There's pretty great platforms if you search for Japanese that you can find their address. And even some ratings. But what we think where our value add is that we're looking at social media across lots of platforms. We understand what people are talking about. We understand its sentiment. We understand what times of the day people talk about it. And if we can give people a really rich social experience when they look for, the Japanese restaurant that serves brown rice, we should be able to surface interesting photos and conversations and content so that you actually work out whether you want to go there or not. And that's kind of really different from a rating or a review or a 4-star.
Will you get that sort of information if people tag the photo or something like that?
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of clues. I mean, often there's a long and a lat. So there's a geotag with a photo, there's normal hashtags, there's text. You know, if the person sort of added content prior, like if you've checked in on Foursquare at a restaurant and then you've added, you know, a photo on Instagram, or, you know, logically they're probably at the same place. So there's a whole bunch of tricks that we've built to kind of work out what the content's about, or, you know, why it might be interesting for you.
Cool. When did you start with Roamz?
So we sort of launched a beta at the end of October last year in San Francisco at the Web 2.0 Summit. And then we launched sort of the next version, which is, I suppose, a more formal version at South by Southwest about 5-6 weeks ago.
That was after the alpha that the CEO broke?
Oh, I've broke lots of things.
I saw that little graph on the website there. It says, this is where the CEO broke our alpha.
Yeah. I mean, I break things on a daily basis. I drive the engineers nuts. But yeah, and then we're going to probably try and launch the next version, you know, the next major release sort of in June, July, where we're sort of rethinking some of the features and really getting a good quality of data out. But in the meantime, we're going to launch it in a whole bunch of languages. So we're going to push release shortly, translated into 10 languages.
Sweet.
So we're just sort of trying to keep on top of the feature requests and also kind of keep true to the vision that we've got for the product.
What about the iPad? Being on the iPad? Any chance on the iPad?
Oh, look, it's definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of, again, about focus. Like, you know, we've got 10, 11 people, and where do you point their attention? So we've still got a bit more we've got to do with the data and on the server side. We've still got a lot more that we want to do, you know, with the iPhone app in terms of getting people to engage and share content and start discussions about stuff that they find.
Yep.
So when we get to that point and we're starting to see that kind of engagement, yeah, then definitely we'll look at an iPad app.
Cool.
Is it going to detect via the connections which people are your friends and specifically highlight them as a follow screen or something like that to filter out the other people that you don't follow? Well,
I think our view is that, like, even if you don't follow someone, sometimes their content's interesting. So, you know, if I'm about to walk into a restaurant and none of my friends are in that restaurant, but somebody's just posted a photo on Instagram of the dish 2 minutes ago, you know, that's really interesting to me, whether or not I follow that person, because I'm making a decision about whether I'm going to walk in. So I think there has to be a balance between showing people content from their friends, which is obviously super interesting, but also content from the local environment, which is interesting in the context of where they are.
So yeah, I was just wondering if you have a separate screen, like this is what your friends are doing with Roamz and this is what other people in the area or wherever you currently are have done on there that you can see.
I think that's the way we'll have to approach it. So this is kind of some of the stuff that your friends have done. This is some of the stuff that other people have done, and sort of calling out the interesting things sort of within the context of where you are. So definitely that's something we have to do. We're hoping to do that by July.
So if I start up the Roamz app and then exit it doing something, can it stay in the background and then notify me when I'm walking near something that I'm interested in?
Have you spoken to someone on my team about the product, the roadmap?
I am on your team.
So yeah, we don't.
Sorry, boss.
Yeah. We don't do that at the moment, but we should be. So the app does stay live in the background, but we don't take your location. We've got consent because the user, when they opt into the location settings, allow us to do that. We just haven't done it yet. So, but that gets really interesting because, you know, if you've got somebody's location and there's a whole bunch of things that could be interesting to them, whether it's around their friends, whether it's around content, whether it's around something going on nearby. And so the challenge for us is how do we let people know about that when it's in the background without annoying them. So some people, you know, are much more tolerant of getting push notifications and some people hate it. So, you know, we want to give people controls to be able to tell us what they like and they don't like before we sort of go down that path.
Yeah, you don't want to get too spammy. There must be, you could put in a little indicator, extra spammy or no spammy, and then how much notification they get.
Well, I think giving people the controls over the types of stuff they want to be notified about, like, do you want to be notified about something really cool that's happening, you know, within, you know, a few steps from you or not? You know, clearly on a Monday morning when most people are going to work, like, you don't want to annoy them. But, you know, on a Friday night or a Saturday night when they're out and about, they're probably more interested in what's going on nearby. So, you know, we have to figure out all of those rules to make sure that, you know, people get really good value out of what we're doing.
Yeah, I suppose if you're in the city with your friends and then a live band event or something was occurring somewhere in a place nearby, it could pop up and then you say, hey guys, look at this, we should go over there and totally check it out and get totally drunk.
Well, I don't know that we'd encourage people to get drunk, but you certainly would want to tell them about it.
At the pub.
We're going to be PC here.
Be very nice, yeah.
Yeah,
Very useful.
that's kind of the idea. Like, so we're getting good data. We're getting better at working out what's interesting. We're getting better at getting fresh content at venues. The next phase for us is how do we get people really engaged with that content, sharing it, discussing it, and how does the app come alive when you're out and about, so that you kind of we're less of a looking glass and we're more of a tool. So when we're out and about, we say, hey Jonathan, look to the left. Like, you can't miss what's going on inside that building. Like, a band has just rocked up. We know you love that band. They're just about to play. If we get to that point, then we become really, really powerful.
Cool.
Are you going to have an API for others to hook into, or are you mostly interested in pushing out to other things like Instagram?
Yeah, well, at the moment we're letting we're pushing content back out through those APIs to Foursquare and Facebook and Instagram, and there's a whole bunch of other ones we're looking at because we've had requests for Tumblr and for Pinterest, and people keep on emailing different suggestions. But yeah, ultimately, like if we've got data that people are interested in and they want to have that data as well, yeah, definitely we'll allow that. I suppose we'd have to be at a scale where it's interesting enough for people. I mean, we're at about 115,000 downloads, so it's still pretty early days. When we get to a couple of million, there's probably enough data flowing through that people will be interested in it.
I think somebody in the world is going to make a ton of money if they make a website that lets developers access the APIs of all the different social platforms through the one place, so you don't have to add on the Pinterest and then add on this and then add on that. You can just connect up to the one and tick a box saying we want to be able to access Pinterest, and away you go.
I completely agree. I think that's a very big market opportunity.
That's copyright by me, anyone listening, so contact me for details.
I mean, it's a big challenge. And the probably even more challenging than actually just hooking them up is that often, a lot of the API structures change as the products develop. So it's not only the fact that you have to invest all that money to hook it up front, but you have to rewrite. Yeah, because an endpoint gets deprecated and you have to rewrite your code. And a new version of the API comes out and you have to update your code. So the maintenance costs more than the initial hooking it up.
Yeah, I was recently having a look at the Yahoo Locations API and also Foursquare, and I can see things there that have been deprecated and changed around, and the different outputs you can get, and it'd be complicated to write for one and support the other, and just get some messy code.
They're all pretty good about it. They all let you know that it's happening, but it's just the fact that you have to monitor. And the more that you plug in, the more things you have to monitor.
Yeah.
And sometimes you miss stuff. So you don't want your whole application to break because you've not changed an API endpoint.
No, that's what the CEO is for, breaking things.
Yeah.
So
what sort of people have you spoken to about this app? Sort of interviewed you?
Oh, we've had amazing traction. So we've had obviously Robert Scoble. We've had Mashable wrote about this new version a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
TechCrunch. We've been in Forbes. We've been in the Smithsonian Institute's magazine. We've been on some TV shows in the US this week on NBC and Fox.
Wow.
We've had some pretty amazing coverage. It's been incredible, the love that we've got. I think because people kind of think the product's cool and the idea's cool, and they're kind of keen to watch it develop.
Definitely.
Now, with all the different check-in programs and stuff like that, what makes Roamz stand out? I've been getting a bit overdone with all the different check-ins. I'm just about to delete GetGlue, I think, because I've had enough of that check-in fatigue. What makes Roamz stand out over the others that would make it more worthwhile keeping on the device?
Well, I think the interesting thing is we don't really care whether or not you check in. We don't really need you to add content. If you just want to use it to browse content, that's cool with us.
Yeah.
I think what will make us even more interesting is we can show you stuff without you having to check in. So we show you the content first. If you choose to go there and check in, good for you. But if not, you get a really nice sense of what's happening nearby. So you don't actually have to give up your location or your privacy if you don't want to, but you can still discover what's happening nearby. But But like it'll get pretty cool when, you know, maybe in your stream you come across something, you know, I come across something that I think is really cool and I want to share it with Brad, and then I can actually flick it to him from Roamz so he can kind of discover it as well, and then we start a conversation about it, and maybe we both go there afterwards. It's a completely, I suppose, different product and different sort of service to what a check-in represents, which is, hey, I'm telling my friends this is where I am or this is what I'm doing. And, you know, that's really powerful and really cool, but people have already solved that problem. You know, Foursquare is an awesome product. Get Glue is very well known and awesome. You know, we're not going to compete with them, nor would we want to.
What do you think of Highlight?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Like, when I was over in Austin, like, that was the app that got a hell of a lot of buzz, and Scoble was, like, in love with it.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah, sorry?
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I was going to mention what I like about Roamz is...
Roamz.
Yeah, Roamz. I didn't say it that good. But it's got like a easy, simple interface. You don't have to like go through a bunch of buried menus to, you know, find everything. I mean, it's just all right there. You got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons on the bottom, and pretty much from there you can, you know, it's easy to use. That's probably why I like it. Well, a lot of people here locally use it as well. You know, a lot of businesses and people. So that's another reason, obviously. So
good stuff, Steve. Good on you. You must be getting the word out.
We wanted to, thank you. We wanted to keep it really simple. Like you don't have to be an avid user of social media to get value out of it. Like, you know, my mum opens it and finds stuff. So I think we want to make it like a mainstream product that people can kind of open and just discover what's happening nearby. And as we get better with the data we show you, like some of the tests we had this week, we were seeing, you know, stuff that happened seconds or minutes ago nearby. So that's really cool. So we'll be pushing that out over the coming weeks. So hopefully you see the product get better and better.
Yeah, a live tab would be good, like a live thing. Just, you know, a live tab button thing would be good.
Well, we want the nearby to be live. Like we want the nearby just to continually fill up with stuff that's happening nearby. So that's kind of where we're trying to get to.
Cool. And what about Highlight? What do you think about Highlight?
Well, look, I think it's a really interesting space, and I think it's a really interesting concept. I think the challenge is obviously the battery life, because monitoring location the whole time uses a lot of battery. The other challenge was at South by Southwest, I was getting pinged non-stop that other interesting people were near me, because everyone in Austin follows TechCrunch, follows Mashable, follows Read Write Web. So it thought that everyone was interesting to me, and then probably they were, but it didn't actually lead me to any meaningful discoveries that I couldn't have worked out just by going up and chatting to someone.
Okay.
I think it gets really powerful when you're in your home context and you start finding out about people who are interesting. I think probably Austin wasn't the best place to get a regular sense of what that app can do, but I think those guys are going to innovate and continue to change it, and I think it's a really interesting space.
Cool. And what about you, Jody? What are your thoughts on the Roamz app? Any questions?
Well, actually, initially when I heard about Roamz, my concern was obviously the privacy. Unfortunately, I have an individual who's been following me to various locations that I really am. It's an undesirable situation. So when I first heard about Roamz, I'm thinking, oh, great, another thing I have to check in and disclose where I'm at. So what I like about it is exactly what you said, Jonathan, the ability to pick up on what's happening around you without necessarily having to disclose exactly where I am. So that's the first thing. But the second thing that I think is really cool is the ability for it to learn what my preferences are. And I think that's going to help make it more useful and personalized experience. The only thing that I'm looking at that would, for me, make it a lot perhaps more valuable would be some kind of a map that shows you, go this way or go that way. So if you're in a city where you don't know where these places are, I know the places around me, but if I'm somewhere else, it'd be helpful to know kind of a local geography. Maybe switch back and forth between that kind of an interface and the list.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the way we've tried to solve that is when you click into a venue, you can actually see the map in the background. And then if you tap on the map, it gives you directions. So you have to actually get into the venue page. So as soon as you click on a venue, you get that map, and then you can tap and find out. But I agree with what you're saying. Like on that nearby stream, to get a sense of where it is and how far away it is, and to get a sense of how do I get there.
Yeah, and then relative to each other, if you want to do more than one event, if you have to tap into it, then you don't know, is it in the same direction or are they two different directions? So
yeah, how do I group a few of these things together so I can go to a few different places or things in one day?
Mm-hmm. But I think it's a really cool app.
Thank you. It's really early. We're taking on all this kind of feedback so we can kind of get better and better.
I just noticed too, after signing in for it, that it automatically brought up my local gym, which is the one that I just joined recently. Does that they don't actually provide any information to you, and it's not from people checking in with your app or another? That's brought straight from Facebook check-ins and locations that have been created by those companies. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. But how did you sign up? Did you sign up with Facebook or with Foursquare?
Yeah.
So we might have seen one of your check-ins at that location.
Well, I see. If I've checked in there previously, then you'll bring that down into it.
We'll bring all of the places nearby in anyway, but if we've seen that clue that you've been there before, that might be a good enough signal for us to put it in the nearby stream so that you see it, because we know you like it.
Oh, yeah, that's very handy. I also saw a couple of places that I haven't checked in ever, but I believe that they're in my area and interesting places that have been updated. So
yeah, so there, we might have seen some recent activity there, and it might match something that we've seen on your profile. Like there's 50 or 100 things that we're looking for, and we're not perfect, but we're sort of we're getting better at some of the stuff that represents interesting content and some of the stuff that doesn't. So that's what we're kind of working on. Make sure we get better and better content and places.
Actually, I just got the map to come up when I clicked on a restaurant. Now, this map's a little small, but, I know it's
yeah, if you click on that little map, Steve, it goes to Google Maps in your app, in your phone, and you can see the more information then.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if it has the pin on the restaurant, but I've been trying to find it, but it's probably in there somewhere. But yeah,
this has been happening. We'll come back to Jonathan in a minute, but Jason, Xbox 360, mate, have you checked out the Vivo yet?
No, I didn't know Vivo was on until you were talking about it recently.
That was until yesterday, until the other day, until TechAU did a post about it.
I saw that Microsoft were looking for somebody to develop Skype for Xbox, which would be interesting as well.
Wait for that. That's going to be cool fun.
Yeah.
So there's Vivo's out now, and in Australia you can get the app on the iPhone and an iPad. And
what's Vivo all about?
It's all music videos. That's all it is. Oh, okay. It's great.
So like the MTV of internet.
Exactly. So you can watch anyone, and that's pretty cool.
I've got a new app that goes with what I've been discussing about joining the gym.
Cool.
It's called Light Fitness, and the gym equipment at the gym that I go to, you can actually plug your iPhone or iPod Touch into.
Oh, nice.
And it'll record all of your run on the treadmills or whichever exercise machine you're using, and it'll upload it to either the Light Fitness website or NikePlus.com website, or both. You can choose. So I've got it posting to both of those, and it gives a rundown of all the how far you've been running, how fast at each time, if you slow down, if you speed up, how many calories you've burned. And you can also use the touch interface screens on the machines to access your music, albums and video on your device and play them through the machine. You plug your headphones into the machine and the device into the machine, and then you can listen to your favourite music while you're running along.
Cool. How far do you run, Jason?
I did about 3 or 4 kilometres and go about 3 days a week, and then I do a lot of weights type training after that for about 15-20 minutes as well.
Good on you.
Very impressive.
Sounds fun. What about you, Steve? Do you do any running?
I used to when I was in the military, and been doing it for 20 years. And I got tired. I ain't never going to run again. Well, that's probably bad, I know.
Yeah. Okay, all right. What about you, Jonathan? What else is happening with that, mate? Any other secrets you want to give us?
Any other secrets? No.
Exclusive to Tech Webcast. I've given away all the secrets already. That's a problem.
Yeah, you nailed it. I think the reason why you guys are sort of saying that stuff is because it's probably stuff that you notice is either missing or things that you want, and that's kind of the way that we're trying to develop it. We're chatting with people in the community and sort of getting a sense of what's working and what's not, and then building that in. But yeah, the exciting things for us will be getting it out in foreign languages, because we've had a lot of requests, particularly like in Asia and in Europe, that people want it in their home language.
So you're going to have separate versions with localization in it?
No, you don't actually have to do separate versions, luckily. It's sort of all in the same... It's the same app, but it just auto-detects the language of the handset sort of to display it in that language. So we're actually testing it this weekend because we've got it working. We've given it to a bunch of friends who speak different languages to try it out.
Cool.
It's actually the iPhone tools are incredible to be able to translate stuff. It's a really easy way to do it. It's great.
Cool. So, Jonathan, do you have the new iPad?
I don't. I've got the iPad 2. A couple of guys in the office have got the 3.
What are your thoughts on the new iPad?
Yeah, look, it's amazing because the screen's just so sharp, and I think, unfortunately, we haven't seen really what the power of it can do from the processor and the screen. When we start seeing some cool apps that take advantage of the Retina display, I think people are going to be blown away.
It looks great on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of even games that I've started to see that the guys playing where it takes advantage of the screen. And it's just, if you hold them side by side, it's really noticeable.
Definitely. And what about you, Jody? You got the iPad 3?
I love my iPad 3. It goes everywhere with me.
Yeah, first-time user.
And you know what? I think I like it best to watch Netflix.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. And I love using Vivo HD. It looks great.
We would like to be able to have access to Netflix and Hulu over here, but we're banned because we're foreigners. American companies don't like foreigners.
Down with Australians. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, Netflix recently announced too. They have there was a show. What was it called? They bought the license to it. It'll come to me. But anyway, they're coming up with like 6 episodes that are not going to be on regular TV. They're only coming to Netflix. And I think that's a smart strategy for them.
Exclusives.
Cool. Any last question before we go, Jason? Any questions for we go for Roamz?
No, I think that's it. It seems like a very interesting app, and we'll look forward to having you on again once the next version comes out with the updates.
Definitely, can't wait.
Thanks for your support.
We love the app, and where can we find you on the internet, Jonathan?
So yeah, Roamz is just on Twitter at Roamz.
Yep.
URL is roamz.com.
Yep.
I'm at Barouch.
Cool.
JBAROUCH. But yeah, we share a lot of content. We've got a pretty cool blog. We've started sort of blogging about stuff that we're interested in and some tech. So yeah, you can check that out as well.
Definitely. All right. And Steve?
You can find me here on justin.tv/SlenderSchoolDude and on Twitter, chatterbox_live.
Cool. And Jody?
You can find me on Twitter as Sunswept, SUNSWEPT. You can find me at my blog or at my website, which is webmarcom.net or webmarcom.net/blog. Podcast, obviously here at Tech Webcast, A2SM, cool. And also the social media hangout. Okay,
and me and Brad on the Tech Webcast. Jason, where can I find you, mate?
On Twitter, Warlock, WAULOK, and bluebilby.com.
And Steve, thanks for doing the video, mate.
Okay, sure thing.
You're a legend.
You lost the game, by the way, Steve.
I don't play games.
Hi, I'm from Aussie Tech Heads, and Will, Eric, and myself as we bring you the latest, most up-to-date, important tech news that affects you from Australia and the world. Weekly podcast available each Friday through iTunes. Watch the live stream recording of the show at live.thesecrethub.com each Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. or GMT +10. Call in live via Skype or chat in our lounge. However you get us, just make sure you do. Listen or visit our website for more information, www.aussietechhead.com.au. Aussie Tech Heads, Australia's longest running tech news podcast.
Well, that's it for Tech Webcast this week. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed having your mind expanded. Tune in next week for more tech talk with Brad, Jason, and whatever crazy guest they've managed to rope in. Don't forget to get the Tech Webcast app from iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at Tech Webcast, and of course check us out on Facebook too. Until next time, may the tech be with you. Peace!